My name is Nathan McDonald. I'm running for Florida State House of Representatives, District 26. I'm a 12-year combat veteran. I fought in Iraq from 2004 to 2005. So I know what service is, I know what dedication to duty is, and I know what it is to engage an enemy. I run a small business. We refurbish sliding glass doors, so I work with my hands each day. I consider each and every single day a profit and loss statement. If you're in business, you know what that means. If you're in government, you don't. And what it means is that I have to keep my costs below my revenue at all times. I am a family man. I am a single father to a 12-year-old daughter, so I know what Florida families are dealing with in these economic times. I also know what it is to have the state-run school system fail your child because the legislature won't take the courageous reforms necessary in order to teach our children. Right. Listen, folks, there is an agenda. Statists are moving forward with their socialist agenda. Yeah. And regardless of how long you've lived, you've seen this fast approaching. Yeah. It didn't just start when Barack Obama became president. No. It has been incremental, transitional, and it is moving forward with a purpose. And I have decided to run because it is time to push back. Yes. Right. Yeah. It's been said that when government becomes an error, it is the duty of the people through their elected representatives to correct that error. I am running because I want to be a part of the correction of that error. Now, when I take a look at the three other men in this race, and I won't use their names, but I will tell you this. There is one 11-year politician, there is the head of a union, and there is a government bureaucrat. And I ask you, do you feel that any one of these men will represent you in Tallahassee? No. The conclusion that I reached when I looked at myself and my family and my peers and my friends and everyone in this district is no, and that's why I've decided to run. Now, what I believe a representative should do is inform the members of the district that he means to represent, to keep those members informed as to what's going on in Tallahassee. Yeah. Why is there a constant need to find more sources of revenue? Why aren't we cutting costs? What's occurring behind when the doors are closed? Right. Why all the crooked land deals? Why can't we have the reform necessary? That's what a representative should be doing. Right. He should also be constantly fighting and using his position, if necessary, as a pulpit in order to decrease the footprint, decrease the size of government, to decrease the intrusion upon the lives of the citizens of this state. Right. I am running for State House, but I ask the question, Republicans in Congress or in the minority party, true, but why aren't they out there on the steps day after day after day, using all the exposure that they can garner? Yeah. Getting all the major news agencies and organizations. Yes, the health bill went through. Yes, cap and trade is probably coming. But why don't we have any real leadership? Why aren't people up there kicking over bees' hive nests? Right. Why aren't people stirring the pot? Are they afraid? Yeah. I think they are.
Yes, they are.
That's what I believe a representative should do. Now, I'm often asked, what are the three things that I care most about? Well, first of all, the states need to exercise their sovereignty insofar as they have not delegated those authorities to the federal government. The state of Florida is sovereign insofar as she has not delegated those authorities to the federal government. I say it again. And what this means is, if Washington, D.C. will continue to aggress against the citizens of this state and pass pieces of legislation that are not constitutional, it is the duty, it is the responsibility of the representatives to protect the citizens of this state by making those acts of federal aggression either null and void or forcing the court's hand as per Article 6 of the Constitution. Article 6 of the Constitution states, the judges shall be bound by the Constitution as being the supreme law of the land. And we should force their hand in those areas. Yes. Second, everybody knows that economic times are tough. So I'm often asked, what would I do to create jobs? What would I do in order to cure the economic ills? I'm running to become an elected official. My job isn't to create jobs. That's your job. If you're an entrepreneur, that's your job. If you're a businessman, that's your job. You know what my job is? My job is to make it as easy as possible for you to conduct business. My job is to remove as much regulations, restrictions, lower taxes across the board, work towards making the environment to do business in the state as easy and fluid as possible. Now, any candidate who comes up and tells you that they're going to do anything is lying. And let me tell you why. At least in the Florida House, there's 120 different representatives. So I would have to contend with 119 other personalities, 119 other egos, and special interest groups represented. And not only that, there's always an opposition party. But ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that every single day, that's what I would be gunning for, to remove restrictions and burdens on business. If you're in business, if you're an entrepreneur, you want to hire. Because you can expand your operations. You can generate more revenue. And if you're efficient, you'll turn a higher profit. Oh, you bet that folks out there want to hire. I want to hire. But I can't, and I don't. Because the business climate is difficult. And we need to resolve that. And finally, education. When people talk about education, we end up talking about the state-run school system. Because education is a lifelong process, and it should be directed by parents and educators themselves and children when they turn of age. And so we need real reform in this state. We need to remove restrictions and burdens and limitations on homeschoolers and private schools. We need to allow a private industry of education to flourish and to compete. And it will, because education is an economic service no different than any other that are provided on the market. And it's efficient, and it's based on quality. And this idea that only the state and the statist agenda with its socialist mindset, only they can teach our children, teach the next generation, that's a myth, and I reject it. I'll just close by saying where we are, where the campaign is at. There's two ways to get on the ballot to qualify. You either pay a fee or you get a certain number of petitions. We will be qualifying by petition. We got 1,106 petitions. Actually, we ended up getting about 1,300 because they throw about 150, 200 out. We're the only campaign in this race who will qualify by petition. And that says something. Because we went out to 1,106 people and we asked them, may I be on the ballot? Do you feel that I'm qualified to represent you in Tallahassee? And folks said yes.